of Liberty.
Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Inherently and historically opposed to secret society.
We, as Americans, have the capacity now, as we've had in the past,
long ago,
to do whatever needs to be done
and unwarranted
to preserve this last and greatest bastion of freedom.
far outweigh the dangers
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
It do be like that sometimes.
Damn it! Damn it, Bobby! I noticed. Okay, so welcome back to Embers of Liberty, where we have a very special Sunday episode for you because yesterday we just had shit to do, and apparently I need to fix the button that starts the show to unmute my microphone.
Also, I think you need to bring your mic up a little bit.
Well, I think what I really need to do is I need to bring yours down a little bit because I can't change how loud mine is, but I can change how loud yours is.
I got you. Well, yeah, bring me down a little bit then.
Let me do that real quick.
So I was listening to our recording the other day, and I was like, man, I sound really good and close to the mic, and you sound far away.
Yeah, so let me actually see if I can change that real quick. Because I noticed that as well. Let's see. Voice and video. Yeah, it's as high as it will go. So, you know, it's just one of those things. But, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't see us again. I hate how this works. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Anyway, so last night we all had stuff going on, and you know, I had a fantasy football draft. Joe had fireworks at Sugar Fest, and we just, you know, we were like, hey, you know, we don't have to work Monday because it's Labor Day, so let's just do the show Sunday night. It was Joe's idea, actually. So you can thank him for the very special Sunday episode. So with that said, Joe, how was your week?
It was good, mine. How was yours?
It was pretty good. Hung some shelves in the living room.
Nice.
To some floating shelves, so they look very clean. And then finished up the barn door that's in our bathroom. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
Nice.
Nice. Very smooth, very clean, very nice. Anyway.
Nice.
Weeks are covered, so it's time to talk freedom things. America, fuck yeah! And boy, do we have a show for you tonight. Because they finally let Kamala do an interview. Yeah, boy! They finally let her in front of a camera. Was it live, Joe?
No, it wasn't.
Was it unedited, Joe?
No, it wasn't.
Was she at least alone, Joe?
No, she wasn't.
That no look good. Did they ask her tough questions?
No, they didn't. Well,
I think they asked her one.
There was maybe...
They asked her one or two tough questions, and they asked her one question which she absolutely just dodged. So anyway, we're going to get right into that. So check this out. This is part one of the interview. We are breaking it up because we're going to watch the whole thing together. We are. Don't you worry. We're going to watch the whole thing. But it's in 3 parts on their YouTube channel, so it's convenient for us. We're just going to split it up so that we don't get too pissed off too quick, because we don't want another last week's show. Or do we?
But we're me and Jess were pretty much just yelling at the screen the whole time.
Well, the children are at home, so it's a little bit tougher. You know what? I know what I've done wrong. I am in the wrong browser. That's the problem. Doop. Doop. Dooba-dooba-doo. A-dooba-dooba-doop-ba-doo. Yep, I was in the wrong browser. All right, so here we go. Check this out.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia.
First off, nobody gives a shit about the bus. Okay, literally nobody.
They have to do something. They have to say something good about her.
Nobody cares about the bus. We all care about your policies. And you're about to find out that she doesn't have any. So let's see that.
Georgia, you have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly,
He has completely dodged that question.
That's not what you asked.
You can't.
First off, America has not run on hope and optimism ever. Okay? America runs on hard work, determination, and the sheer will to completely fuck the rest of the world up if we have to. Okay? That's it. There's a reason we don't have free healthcare in America. And it's called our defense budget. Okay? Ack. Indeed. So to sit there and say that, the hope and shit has fueled Americans, no. Absolutely not. Bad Kamala.
in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation.
Yes, because Make America Great Again should be so divisive.
And I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you...
No, we're ready to turn the page on you and Joe Biden. That's what we're ready to turn the page on. Because you have completely, you have completely ruined our lives as far as our incomes go, as far as our jobs go, as far as your attempt to force us to take an experimental medication goes. We're tired of you. Like, by a lot. Okay? Think before you drink, before you drive me mad.
Your day one.
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib.
I don't think you understand that a tax credit does not help, because in order for you to utilize said tax credit, you still need the money up front. Am I wrong?
My thing is like, damn, $6,000 child tax credit. That's the highest we've gotten so far.
Only for families with infants in the first year of their life.
Right.
You have to buy a crib out of pocket. You have to buy a car seat out of pocket. All of these things you have to do before the baby arrives, which means you don't get a tax credit yet. How are you going to make it help them be able to afford those things when they don't help them afford those things?
Because we have circled back around to the issue. She doesn't have biological children. She has never given birth to children. She doesn't know.
This isn't hard. Okay? And it's the same thing. You know what? We'll just let her talk. Okay? I'll just shut up. I'll just let her.
Quit digging holes, Justin. Let her dig the hole.
Let her dig her own holes and then explain why she's dumb and wrong. Okay?
Let her dig the holes and then explain to us why she doesn't know how to use her hole.
The American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda, too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be. And I think many of these things that the Vice President's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit's one we know that reduces childhood poverty by a third. We did it in Minnesota to have a federal partner in this. Unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost.
Because of a pandemic, you bitch!
I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID.
Hold on. Was it hundreds of people a day, or was it, the 2.2 million people that you claim had died in a day?
But no, we have just found out that they fudged the numbers.
Quiet.
Yes.
See.
Oh.
Brain.
And the numbers weren't fudged.
Brain.
The numbers weren't fudged when Trump was in office. They were fudged after they took office.
Brain. This is Kamala right now. Brain. The deadline approaches, and we have done nothing to prepare. Can you do that thing that makes us do all the doings?
So that we can be burdened by the things that have been. Unburdened by the things that have been.
So that we can be unburdened by what was. You know what? She's earned this one.
Stupid.
She earned it. She earned it. Okay? Earned it.
And this
Probably,
one. Dumbass!
probably the biggest idiot that's ever ran for president in the history of presidential candidates, except for Vermin Supreme. Probably.
Emotional damage.
And you know what? I like Vermin Supreme because he's hilarious. That's the only reason.
He does it on. He does it on purpose to show that the whole system is just a big shit show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big shit show.
Indeed. Indubitably. She's blaming this whole thing on Trump, and she's about to say it was his mismanagement, but we'll let her say that.
The economy had crashed, in large part all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America, and today we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging, what we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years, what we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home.
So how is this going to work? Right. So tell me how this isn't going to be full of fraud, right? Because
hold on. Let me finish.
So you're telling me that you're going to give me a tax credit to put $25,000 down on a home, while you don't realize that in order to buy a home, you have to have that $25,000 up front.
Dumbass.
You're not going to get a tax credit in advance of buying a home. Not only that, you are creating a huge demand side issue, which is going to skyrocket prices, because now people have $25,000 extra to put towards a home.
So guess what? Homes are going to go up $25,000 damn dollars.
Guess what's not going to happen? Builders are not going to build more houses because of your tax incentives, because you're handing free money out. By the way, money isn't free. The second you start handing all that money out, where did it come from? You had to print it, which deflates our currency, which makes houses even more expensive on that front.
Dumbass.
Did I say deflate or inflate? Because I meant inflate.
It don't matter. I think people got it.
Regardless, it inflates the currency, which inflates the price of houses because there's more money chasing fewer products, which caused this whole problem to begin with, with your American Rescue Plan and all these COVID relief bills and all of the shit that you did exacerbated the problem instead of just doing what was right and opening the fucking economy. Okay? All of this is in large part due to Donald Trump allowing the country to be shut down, right? But at the same time, a lot of it was state by state. Okay, the federal government had some involvement, but it wasn't a total involvement. We are a republic where the states hold the majority of the power, or they're supposed to. Okay? You can't sit there and blame the sitting president at the time of the pandemic for the problems created by different states doing different things, and then the Federal Reserve just printing money hand over fist to hand out to people who didn't need it. I did not need the money. Did I take the money? Absolutely. If you're going to give it to everybody else, you're going to give it to me too.
Like, I'm going to take the money that's given to me.
None of this makes any sense. Okay? So, again, back to my point. if you're going to do it in the form of a tax credit, that means there's probably going to be a question on your tax return now that says, do you plan on buying your first home within the next 12 calendar months? And then they're going to be like, oh, well, here's your $25,000 tax credit.
Then you don't build a home.
My problem is that I don't see how this is actually going to work as a tax credit, because it doesn't do what you say it does. If the plan is to give people $25,000 in tax credit to cover the cost of a down payment, they either had to have the money up front, or you have to have a plan to give them $25,000 for that down payment. It can't be both. You cannot do it this way. It doesn't make any sense. What is the trigger point going to be for the tax credit? When do you get it? There's people who need to buy a home now. My wife and I just bought the house that I'm sitting in. Do I get $25,000?
I could almost pay off what was left of my house with that $25,000.
Are you going to give me $25,000 for buying my home this year before this policy went into effect? This is bullshit, okay? This is called bribing the American people with their own money.
Yep.
And
pretty much.
I don't know, maybe that's not such a good idea, because that's not what the federal government's here for, right?
No.
There are better solutions. There are tax incentives that you could offer to builders to build more homes. That makes sense. Oh, but they're part of the ultra wealthy, so they got to pay their fair share. So no tax credits for them, no tax breaks. No, bad. You could pass legislation to prevent BlackRock and other giant hedge funds from purchasing up new homes to ensure that everyone has to rent and inflating the rent by a ton. You could use the antitrust laws that are already in existence to go after data firms that essentially set the rent prices around the country. Oh, by the way, they're doing that right now. So, there's better options to handle this than here, have some money.
Yeah, because here, have some money is just going to make shit more expensive, even more.
So, and here's the other thing, right? So, there are zero down options out there. My wife and I bought a house with no money down, not a penny out of pocket down, except for the earnest money that we had to have to secure a contract to purchase the home, which in our case was only $1,000. A lot of times it's 1% of the purchase price of the house, but in our case, they were willing to take $1,000 because it's what we had. And we got our loan, and it was fine. We got a USDA loan. We got a government loan. That's exactly what we did. There are options for people who don't have the ability to save a ton of money. The problem arises when part of her policy supposedly is that you had to have paid your rent on time for 2 years, right? It's part of a bill that's already in the House. That's never going to pass. It's just not. I'm sorry. It's not something that's ever going to get done. They count on-time rent payments for 2 years to prove that you can pay your mortgage. The problem is that a lot of people don't pay their rent on time, and they have shitty credit because they don't pay their other bills on time, and nobody will lend them money.
And how many years did we pay our rent on time?
Many years.
And we ain't getting shit.
And we didn't get shit. Okay?
We ain't getting shit for shit.
I think the better option is force renters and landlords to report their rent on their credit report.
I think they should.
It displays ability to pay on time every month. It displays, another account that will boost your credit score. It does a lot of things. And services like Experian, they have, the ability to report your rent on your credit report as a monthly bill that you pay on time to help you raise your credit score. I think that should be law. I think you should have to report the rent on, on a credit report. They don't. My problem with the Democrat Party is that they want to create solutions to problems that don't exist. Right?
Right.
So, like, in my area in particular, there are so many new houses being built that I don't understand how anybody can say there's a housing shortage in this area. Because there's not. Affordable housing, maybe, but you can thank inflation for that, and the fact that wages never keep up with inflation. Oh, and by the way, her claim that they have inflation to 3.5%, that's all fine and dandy, but inflation is what, Joe? Is it cumulative?
Yes.
Yes, it adds up. It keeps, if it was, okay, so say I'm 200 pounds. I'm not, but say I'm 200 pounds, right? Just for sake of ease of math, right?
I wish I was 200 pounds.
And 1 year I gained 50 pounds. So now I'm 250. And the next year I only gained 10 pounds. So now I'm 260, right?
Right.
But my average weight gain per month went down. That's what they're doing with inflation. Okay? That's exactly what it is. They're saying that because your average went down, even though the overall total cumulative price increase did not, that it's good. No, that's not how it works. Inflation is cumulative. It adds over time. So that 3% adds up on that 6%, adds up on that 9%, adds up on that 12%. It just keeps going up. And unless there's an actual decrease in the prices, you didn't lower inflation. You just mitigated its effects for a little bit. You made it slightly less inflationary. That's all you did. You know, year on year, it's gone up consistently. You know, 2%, 2.5% is about normal, right? Economists kind of agree that 2.5% inflation is pretty normal, whatever. When we had 6, 7, 8, 9% inflation rates over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, you know, that it fucked us. Like, honestly, that's all it did. Anyway.
Yep.
I'm just like, this really bothers me because, you know, she supposedly has an economics degree from what I hear. I don't know how true that is. You can look it up, Joe. But I've seen on Twitter and elsewhere that she has an economics degree. And for somebody with an economics degree, she's awfully fucking stupid on economics. So anyway, here we go.
Which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now,
the real hard question.
Why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors.
You mean the work that Donald Trump did that you undid so that you could redo it and take credit for it?
Damn. By the way, yeah, she did. She graduated from University of California and Hastings College of Law and in San Francisco. She graduated with a degree in political science and economics.
Yeah. Okay. So she's a dumbass. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thanks for confirming.
Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited. I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that anymore.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%. When we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do. But
notice she avoided the term Bidenomics that entire time. The whole time. She is actively distancing herself from Joe Biden because she sees Joe Biden's presidency as a risk for her aspiration to be president. And it is imperative that this woman not be allowed to be president of the United States. Okay? No matter what happens, this woman cannot win under any circumstance. You want to talk about poverty increasing? Let her get in office. Let her enact any of her plans. Let her see any of the stuff that she wants done be done, and you'll see what poverty actually looks like. It's gonna get bad, like really, really bad. Luckily, and I posted this on X earlier this week. I don't know who needs to hear this, but we're a democratic republic, not a monarchy, so the president doesn't actually have that much power, right? They claim that the president is like the leader and the president is the figurehead of the government, essentially.
Right.
Your vote down ballot matters far more than your vote for president. The executive branch is very limited. They can't do things without legislation, right? So the more important part of this election cycle, I think, is to get Democrats out of Congress, to prevent them from enacting these things that they want to do. Because Kamala's first day in office can go however she wants it to go, but without Congress to back her, nothing happens. So that's the real thing, right? So anyway, back to this.
that's good work.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand on some key policy issues. Energy is a big one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
Mixy with the
No,
finger.
and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
Lies.
In 2019, I believe, in a town hall, you said you were asked, would you
I didn't mean to pause that. That's my bad.
commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made
So wait,
you
what?
change
Wait,
that
okay,
position?
so pause it. Do pause it now. So she just said she would not ban fracking. And then when she said...
Hold on. Wait. No, first off, she said, I'm absolutely in favor of banning fracking, right?
back in 2020.
Back in 2019.
2019. But now she said, I do not...
But if she keeps her word and has kept her word, then that means that she is indeed in favor of banning fracking.
No, that's what I'm saying is, so in 2019, she said, I'm going to ban fracking. And then just now, she said that, what is your plan on banning fracking? She said, I will not ban fracking, just now in this interview, right?
Yes.
And she said, well, in the interview in 2019, or in the town hall, you said you were going to ban fracking. And she says, my position has not changed, and it will not change. I will keep my word. Okay, well, your position was that you were going to ban fracking.
Correct.
So so remember, Justin, it's because we're being unburdened by what has been.
I can be unburdened by
So basically, what it is this is instead of word salad, this was thought salad.
Correct.
She had a little thought salad going on here.
Yes, a little thought salad. Anyway, that's not the right thing.
At the time.
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed.
There it is. My values have not changed. So if your values have not changed, then your positions most likely have not changed. And you're just saying the things that you need to say to get elected so that you can do what your values, what your values are. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied.
So she can unburden us by what has been.
No. So that she can burden us with what hasn't been.
There you go.
That's what she means, right? So, like,
right,
being unburdened by what has been is literally a Marxist trope from Karl Marx. Like, that was one of the big things. Like, the goal was to unburden people from what the past was and introduce a new way, right? So, like, this is completely 100% Marxist thought.
Right. So, speaking of that, I have been listening to people this week talk about how, like, the Communist Manifesto and all this stuff about how, like, they were going to, invade the universities and all this stuff. And
yeah, and that's exactly what they've done.
No joke. Like, every single thing on the list has happened.
Yep.
Like, they said they were going to use gender and race and all that stuff against us. And what has happened? Exactly what they've said.
Yep. So Malik says, "Is it just me, or is she really showing her age these days?" That would be the lizard skin underneath her actual, underneath her mask, starting to show through. That mask is really wearing thin.
Well, now that she's running for president, they may have introduced her to the aliens already, so that she all of a sudden is getting a little wrinkly.
But it's one of those things. Anyway, let's be unburdened by what has been real quick, okay?
I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act.
I'm sorry, what? Word salad?
All I heard was climate and then inflation reduction. Like, what does the inflation reduction have to do with the climate?
Don't you know they relabeled that as the largest climate bill in the history of the world?
Dear gosh.
It became less about reducing inflation because it didn't do anything to reduce inflation and more about the climate impact that it had. Yeah, okay.
What we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay.
So, since it's the clean.
Here's the problem. I do not believe you.
Here's another thing. Okay, so Australia is the world's largest lithium producer, right? You know who so that's what Google says.
Okay.
And then, but you know who else is apparently? Yeah. So the largest.
It's the Chinese.
No. Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina, because those countries are known to be so not corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. Nope, it's going to be a no for me, dog. I mean, it's going to be a no for me. Anyway, we're going to move on from Kamala Harris for a few moments to talk about the astronauts that are stuck in space. Because isn't that just lovely? The rumor that I hear is that they would rather be stuck in space than get on a Boeing spacecraft. Hold on. Let me tell.
It's one of the Freedom Children.
Let me go tell my children good night.
Okay, this is important.
Be right back. Hey, wait. Ben, come here. Come here. Come here.
What? Wait. Hello.
Say afuera.
Afuera.
Oh, I can't hear him. It keeps cutting him out.
Everybody can hear you. Do it. Say afuera. Go afuera.
Say afuera.
Do it. Afuera. All right, come here, guys.
Say goodnight.
Good night.
Go say goodnight.
Good night. I love you. Huh? Hey, Benny, come here.
Okay.
Say, excuse me.
Me.
Say, excuse me. All right, one more. Go. Say, excuse me.
Excuse me, you are a nasty person.
Go to the hand.
Excuse me, you're a nasty person.
Nasty person.
Oh my God.
Somehow you got muted. No, there you go.
How much of it did they?
You got all of them except that last one there.
Oh, okay. It'll be okay. He just said, excuse me.
But, so yeah.
Oh, God, that was fun.
So, yeah, the astronauts are having some issues. And who coming to the rescue but the private sector, of course.
None other than Daddy Musk. Oh, by the way,
yeah, boy.
In honor of the boys all doing it.
Afuera! Hell yeah, boy!
All right, let's get into this.
Boeing facing a new setback to its space ambitions. NASA announcing over the weekend that it will not use Boeing's faulty Starliner craft to send home astronauts stuck at the International Space Station. The agency deciding it's safer to use Elon Musk's SpaceX. Boeing's down by almost 1%. Guy Johnson joins us for more out of London. Guy, how much of a setback is this? How embarrassing is this for Boeing?
It's hugely embarrassing. Of course, it's hugely embarrassing. They sent 2 astronauts up. They were meant to be up there for a week. They've been up there a couple of months, and now they're going to be up there until the beginning of next year. You've got to reconfigure a whole load of capsules, both on the SpaceX side and also on the Boeing side. They're going to bring the capsule that went up back uncrewed because they can't run the risk of bringing the 2 astronauts back in it. It's got thruster issues, and they're concerned about what the re-entry would ultimately look like. This is a program, John, that is already billions over budget, and it's behind schedule. It's been like this for quite some time. Boeing is saying that it is committed to the program, but remember, you've got a new CEO coming in. He's got a blank piece of paper, and he's looking at everything right now. So yeah, it's hugely embarrassing. It's also potentially financially very consequential. There is a lot already invested in this program. What happens to it next will matter to Boeing shareholders.
You alluded to it, Guy. Build on that just a little bit. How blank is that piece of paper? Does the incoming CEO really have the option of stepping away from that business?
I think everything is on the table. Look, you have to figure out how you're going to right the ship. Let's say it is still a priority. Kind of how high is it in terms of the list of things that need to get done? How big a priority is it? Does he need to make sure that the civil side of the business is fixed first? Can he do it all? Is there enough bandwidth to actually solve all the problems simultaneously? There are lots of things going on at Boeing at the moment. The civil business definitely needs to be put back on an even keel. The MAX program, what happens with the MAX replacements is the next big challenge there. What is happening with the 87? What's happening with the 777X? There are lots and lots of challenges that need to be resolved for this company. you come back to the space program, yeah, sure, it's going to be an issue and it's going to be something that this company has to resolve. But when does that ultimately happen? And do you have the luxury of time when SpaceX is doing what it's doing right now? Remember that it's got another launch going up. It's about to have another launch going up. It's going to be sending astronauts up. They're going to spend time in one of the highest orbits that we've ever seen. It is making progress. The problem here is you've got a competitor that is doing it better and faster. Do you stick with the program and continue to make losses? It's a really big challenge. Boeing has limited resources. It's got to figure out where it wants to spend them.
I would turn it on its head, Guy. Why should they continue with a program that has left them with losses where they're falling behind?
Because of so much that has been invested already, Lisa, and because this is going to be an area of growth going forward. Can Boeing afford not to be in space? I think is a key question that this company needs to answer.
Boeing can't afford any more fuck-ups. That's what Boeing can't afford. Okay?
Because even their planes are jacking up, dude.
This is just bad. Like, the whole thing is just bad. But I digress. Anyway. Crazy stuff.
If I was Boeing, I'd go back to just worrying about airplanes and war material.
Yeah. Yes. But even then, like, how much can you really trust any of that?
That's true.
So, back to the most embarrassing interview that a presidential candidate could have done, accompanied by her babysitter, Tampon Tim.
Tampon Tim!
Another issue, big one, is immigration. Mm-hmm. As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration.
Oh, wait. There's something that I needed to do before we did that, because, we always enjoy bringing receipts, right? So, just a quick little aside here from 2019.
My family lives in western Pennsylvania, where fracked gas wells have become a common sight. Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
And even though that is the Trump deal there, that's their
that is
campaign.
Still her policy position from 2019's election cycle.
Right. Like, I don't think they can, like, post AI shit, or else that can be, like, sued for...
Well, that's from 2020. Like, that's from the campaign in 2020.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they can... I don't think it's fake, because...
Oh, it's definitely not fake. That was a real interview.
Right.
Or a real
But
town
it's just
hall,
the lips looked a little off on some of the things. That's why I'm saying
that. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Moving on.
In southern countries and
northern part of Central America.
The northern part of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S. Mm-hmm. During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration...
Wait for it, because here it comes. She's about to blame the orange man.
Issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. Mm-hmm. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. a border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock, and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to ask
Not only push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Just one.
That isn't your job. The president does not legislate. Therefore, you are operating outside the scope of your duties, and you can go fuck yourself.
And eat a dick.
Thank you, Joe.
Wait,
by the way,
she's already done that, though.
Many of them. So, while we're on that front, let's see. Is this one of the benefits of your root cause analysis?
The city nonprofits have lined up to help the migrants that have come here, but nobody is helping the American citizens, the residents that are trapped in these apartment complexes.
So that's embarrassing, because were those armed Americans or were they armed Venezuelans?
Armed Venezuelans.
Huh. But yeah, border super.
You could probably find a better video of that.
Not really. That's about what they are. Because it's all security footage.
Is that all that it showed though?
Yeah, pretty much. Like this is asinine to suggest that you're going to fix the problem that you created.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, you don't have to have more power to shut down the border. You just need to, shut it the fuck down. Like that's what you need to do. But you don't want to do that because you want to paint Republicans as being the bad guys. The reason that bill got shut down is because it gave billions of dollars to Ukraine. It did not solve the problem in the ways that you said it did. It provided relief from only Mexican migrants, not any other nation. So it didn't solve the problem. Because if you actually take the time to read the text of the bill, you realize, oh, this just creates even more of a problem. Like, this isn't hard. Like, the problem is that the American people, writ large, do not have the time or the energy to be as politically involved as we are. And I really don't have the time or the energy to be as politically involved as I am. But guess what? I love my country more than I love free time. So, yeah. About that, Kamala. Fuck you.
And then, eat a dick.
Thank you.
And then if you go on to the next little link there, the governor dismisses the armed gang takeover as a figment of imagination.
We have more from the mayor of Aurora. He's concerned that someone is funding these apartment takeovers. Watch this.
Somebody put them there and somebody funded it, whether it's federal government or not. We're trying to find out who these gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants. And so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. Arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
They're collecting the rent. Good Lord. Danielle Jurinsky is a city council member in Aurora, and she joins me now. Danielle, a spokesperson for the governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, he's dismissing you. They say this is all a figment of your imagination. Would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, I just would ask him, is this also a figment of the Romero's imagination and all of the other folks that I've spoken to at these complexes and that I've physically moved out? This is one heck of an imagination.
What are you going to do about this?
Well, what I've been able to do so far is bring this much attention to it, and I plan to continue to bring this kind of attention to it until this is addressed. I'm not going to sit back and let this be downplayed and let this be ignored. The governor can attack me all he wants, but I am going to continue to expose this, and I will continue to go into these buildings, and I will get as many people out as I can.
You're going to get people out. What about the people who are barging their way into these apartments? What are you going to do about them? Can we arrest them in some way?
Well, I think that's where we need the help of our state and federal partners. I mean, this is way beyond any one local law enforcement dealing with this. This gang is here. They have spread out. They have taken over multiple apartment complexes. This is not just in Aurora, and we need a group effort here.
Who's to blame, in your opinion?
Well, the blame starts at the southern border. I mean, first and foremost, we need to shut down our southern border, and we need to put policies in place that are vetting these people. And then beyond that, you know, you can look at our state. Our governor has made our state a sanctuary state here in Colorado, and the mayor of Denver, you know, they hung a banner on the Denver City Hall that said, "We love migrants." Well, you know, we love migrants too, but can we vet them? I mean, these people are coming in. They have hundreds of guns. They are running whatever kind of operations they are running, and somebody needs to step in here at the federal level and the state level.
I want to go back to how the residents of some of the...
I would like to point out that one dude is walking around with a hunting rifle or a sniper rifle, whatever you want to call it. Got a big fucking scope on it. Okay,
it looks like an AR with a hunting scope.
Yeah.
Which could be a 308 AR. We don't know what type of AR.
It's probably an AR-10, but...
It's an AR platform is all we know.
At the end of the day, this lady's right. This is a federal border policy issue because the Biden-Harris administration has allowed all of this to continue.
I would like to see some militias go in there and just kick ass.
I would love that. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen. What I would really like to see is the National Guard go in there and clear the area. But, you know, they're not going to do that because, you know, that's racist.
I'm about to say, no matter who was to do it, it's going to be turned around on them, and they're going to be like, oh, look at these people going in here and getting a hold of these innocent Venezuelans.
Yep. So, back to the interview.
Another question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. There was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
I have some audio that was edited out of this interview that occurred right after she said that. Okay,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Malik says, wake me up when she's done lying. Well, that will be a very long nap, Malik. Very, 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 very long. I'm sorry that we're having to put you through this. Anyway, moving on.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. The
significance of the passage of time is that we are all old enough to remember that you are a lying sleazebag.
Exactly.
Did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe.
By the way, the United States of America leads the world in carbon emission reduction already. Okay.
Yep.
It's time for other nations to do their part, not just us, if this truly is a crisis.
I don't think that there is a, so here's my opinion. I don't think there's a climate crisis.
No, but the Democrats never let a good crisis go to waste. So.
Now I believe there is some stuff going on with the climate. I mean, you can go outside and just tell that shit's different now than when we were little. And sure, it could be, what do you call it? Where they say things, kind of come in like the waves, and but I think they progressively get worse.
Yeah.
I mean, even as a Christian, you read in the Bible and it talks about the climate doing weird stuff in the end of days and all that. Like, the climate is something that we should always be prepared to try to adapt to, because it's going to change. Climate change is real.
We're, as human beings, we are great at adapting to our environment. We have done it for thousands of years.
Exactly.
We innovate. We make better things. We do things that will keep us safer. We do things that will, allow us to deter our enemies in a more effective way. We are great at adaptation, right?
Right.
HVAC was one of those adaptations. Like, we wanted to be warm in the winter and cool during the summer. So we came up with something to do just that. And now most people have it.
Yep.
So it's just fucking like everything that she's talking about is just bullshit. So anyway, moving on.
Around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. In 4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus. And it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note.
Unless you're a conservative. I don't want your opinion if you're a conservative. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be her way of looking at
it. That's how she actually looks at it. Anyway.
You had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone in mind?
No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would. I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that You have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part.
Because every mention of her ethnicity prior to now was about her Indian heritage. You know, Indian, from India.
Yep.
But now it is politically expedient for her to be black and Indian.
Yep.
So Donald's not exactly wrong. Do I agree with the attack? No, but at the same time, like, he's kind of right.
Of your identity.
Yeah.
Any
same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it? That's it. Okay. Let's talk about some foreign policy issues that would be on your plate if you become commander-in-chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I am unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters.
No,
Far
I don't
too
really
many
think it does.
innocent Palestinians have been killed.
I don't think
And
that's true either.
we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to.
Okay, that's all fine and dandy. You can try to get a deal done all you want, but unless Hamas comes to the table and actually tries to do a deal, there's no deal that's going to get done because Hamas doesn't want a deal. It is literally part of their charter that they want the destruction of Israel. And until you deal with someone called Iran, none of it gets any better because Iran is the one funding it all. So you have to implement real material consequences to Iran. You can't go in there with the mindset of regime change. That's never going to work. The Iranian people have to rise up, overthrow the regime, and do better. But they're not going to do that because the Iranian regime rules with an iron fist.
Generally, the majority of people are a bunch of scaredy cats.
Correct. Anyway.
Get a deal done. This war must end.
In the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change.
By the way, 6 more hostages found murdered this week.
Yep.
Policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I remain committed since I've been on October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution, where Israel is secure and in equal measure the Palestinians have.
The Palestinian state has no right to exist. Israel does have a right to exist. That is the land that the Jews have occupied since the dawn of recorded history. I am sorry, but Palestine never existed until the Romans came in there, broke up the kingdom of Judah and Israel, and renamed the land Palestine to break the tie to the Jewish religion. Not complicated. It's always been Israel.
Yep.
And Israel, being a much better nation than most, has allowed the Palestinians to govern themselves instead of just going in there, taking the shit over, and saying, no, fuck you, we're done. Which is what they need to do.
It's what I would have done.
That's what I would have done. That's what America would have done. I mean, look at the Native Americans here. Yikes. Anyway.
In the words of Tony Stark, it's what Dad would have done. It's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Preach. You know, I mean, you can say what you want, but really it looks like Israel's better at war than Hamas.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Have security and self-determination and dignity.
Yeah, you know, their opportunity for self-determination ended when they decided to murder 1,200 Jews, or 12,000 Jews. How many was it? Was it 1,200? It's 1,200, right?
I think it was 1,200, yeah.
Yeah. When they murdered 1,200 Jews, that was the end of their ability to self-determine. Sorry. Not sorry.
Yep.
Anywho, let's see. So we're going to come back to the interview because I'm ready to not talk about them for a minute. Now, here's an interesting thing. Joe Biden has been on vacation for the last 16 days. So who is running the country? That's
nobody.
What I want to know. Oh, by the way, on X, this image here of him on the phone has been portrayed as the man never stops. Then why has he been on vacation for 16 days? Kind of sounds like
it's probably him being like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean? My food's gonna be late.
My butt hasn't been wiped. I need a diaper change. Come on, man."
Sure, what do you mean? What do you mean the child prostitute is late?
You know the thing.
Jill's hands are getting too rough, man. It's soft down there. I need some soft child hands.
Yeah. Anyway, is he vaping? What's happening here? He looks like he's taking a hit off vape. Cheers to that, Joe. That's a pretty short phone call for somebody who never stops working. That is Secret Service.
I thought so. That poor guy having to be out there in a suit, that sucks.
Yeah, see the earpiece?
Oh, yep, there it is. Ooh, there we go. I bet he's checking out that ass.
Probably. Let's see. Okay, so there's that one. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the border crisis, we do bring receipts. So here's the receipt.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
Did you fall out of a coconut tree?
It's Brad Summer. I'm a Brad. Anyway, we can be unburdened by what has been, so that's the important part. Okay.
Because of the significance of the passage of time.
And then they also seem to have been cooking the books on the job. No!
When it comes to...
They seem to have been cooking the books. Damn it, I hate it when that happens. You go to click the full screen button and it's just like, nope, different video. Let's go. They seem to have been cooking the books on the job numbers because the non-farm payroll growth revised down by almost 1 million jobs. Super awkward.
Let's bring in Steve Leisman on the phone from Jackson Hole with some reaction.
We got a new viewer. I've never seen this person. Valiant Thor says, voting for Kamala is like taking a massive shit in your pants, then slipping on a pair of fresh sunglasses and confidently claiming that everything's under control.
That is 100% to the T, on the nose.
Valiant Thor, welcome to the show. And to that comment, I give you a round of applause.
And a cheers.
Probably everything's okay. I may have shit my pants, but I definitely have my aviators right here. I'm going to put them on and everything's okay. There's no shit in my pants anymore because I put sunglasses on. Frankly, a lot of people probably are saying the smell, it's terrible, but you can't smell it when you have on a quality pair of sunglasses, okay, frankly, and then a spray tan goes a million miles, okay? Frankly, it goes a very long way. Probably the furthest that anybody's ever seen it go, frankly. Thank you. I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. Valiant Thor, give us a little bit of insight. Obviously, you're not a Democrat, so where are your political leanings? What area of the nation are you from, if you're from here? And the likes. We enjoy having new viewers. We also enjoy getting to know our viewers. We try to be as personable of a show as possible.
Yeah, just give us a rundown. And if you don't care, Justin, give us the spiel.
The spiel? Oh yeah. So
yeah.
We're libertarians, or well, I'm an independent.
No,
Joe's a libertarian.
I meant smash that like button.
Oh yeah. So if you're enjoying the show, leave us a comment, which you've already done. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and then smash the bell icon with the force of 1,000 non-Kamala voters. You'll always be notified when we go live. It is a live show. Typically, it's on Saturdays at 8 o'clock. We were kind of busy last night. We don't have to work tomorrow, so we're here tonight. If you can't watch us live, you can always catch the replay. And if you don't want to watch the replay and you're an audio-only podcast listener, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
So pretty much, your skepticism extends to both Republicans and majority of Democrats. So you're pretty much like a libertarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. We like.
So our saying is we believe that gay married people should be able to defend their weed farms with guns. That's the way we look at life.
Damn straight.
And you may disagree with some of those aspects to life, but
that's none of your damn business.
Well, no, the idea is that if you disagree with any of that, it's the idea that, yeah, you may disagree with it, but you still feel like, one, it's not up to the government, and two, whatever choices people make that you may disagree with, as long as it doesn't affect you, that's between them and God, or, them and their own conscience.
Yes. You can
as long as it does not
watch our older shows, and you'll kind of see where we line up.
As long as it doesn't, affect another human being.
There's 4 years of content now? 3 years?
Let's see, we started in 2020? I
think so.
It may have been 2021.
It was 2021 when we started. So yeah, there's a solid 3 years of content now. We started this show about the time that the Biden administration took power. So anyway, it's been a fun 3 years. It's also been a frustrating 3 years, and we're glad to have you, Thor. We're glad to have you. Anyway,
every viewer counts to us.
Every viewer definitely counts. We always enjoy getting new viewers, and yeah, it's welcome. Also, if you don't mind, tell us how you found us. That would be great.
And then we'll quit bothering you.
Yes, we will definitely quit bothering you and let you enjoy the rest of the show.
To those job revisions, Steve, market initially took it as fairly dovish. Historically, though, it is a pretty good big revision, right?
Yeah, you got to go back to 2009 to find a bigger downward revision here. It looked like in 2009.
2009 to find a bigger downward revision of payroll growth. So, yeah. Having lunch and saving the world? Are you military, sir? Anyway, that's awesome, though. I'm glad that we're not getting algoed so hard anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Speaking of,
2009 for a larger job
didn't we get our blue check mark?
Yes, we're blue check marked on Twitter now. On
Did
X.
we have to pay for that, or is it because we have 100 viewers?
I had to pay for it.
Oh, damn.
I got.
Wait, no, we know Valiant Thor.
Production facility.
Yeah, we know Valiant Thor. He's been here before.
I don't
because we talked about the. Yeah, because he's from the Los Alamos. Good night,
easy,
sir.
Brother.
You have a good
Take
one.
it easy.
But yeah, he's from Los Alamos Laboratory. He's been on here before. Remember, because we asked him, we were like, "Dude, have you seen the aliens and shit?" Like, we asked. Yeah, he's been on here before.
I don't remember it, but I've got a lot going on regardless. So anyway.
Yeah, I remember that old boy. Yeah, he's not new.
Well, we're gonna treat him like he's new because I don't remember him, and I try to remember all the new people. But anyway, isotope production facility. That's crazy. Element 115. Anywho, 2009. Last time it was revised this severely, and that is not a small number. 818,000. That is just shy of a million. That's not good. Because haven't they been touting their job growth by a lot? Joe, haven't they? Isn't that something that they do?
Yes.
They talk about their job numbers quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes. Anyway.
They went down by, what's the number here? Minus 824. So that's slightly smaller than that. That, of course, was a time when the economy was in free fall. It's not, when you parse it out over the 12-month period, again, this is the 12 months ending in March 2024, so it's a little unclear what it means, how relevant it is for today's jobs numbers. But it comes up to 68,000. So essentially what we were doing, instead of doing 250 average, we were doing, say, 185 to 200,000 in that zone. It depends a little bit, Carl. They'll parse it out over the months in February. This is the total for the year ending March 2024. Jobless claims have been running relatively low. Remember, this is a process by which they true up the payroll report to the act.
You notice the chat?
Our chat?
Yeah, look at our chat.
No, last thing I see is from Valiant Thor.
Yeah, no, look at all of his previous messages.
Why are they gone?
Whew.
I'm a little creeped out now.
Did we get feted? Did we just have a fed?
Because hold on.
Fed. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, they've all been retracted. Like I'll show you. No. Damn it. Never mind. I won't show you because it won't let me screen grab.
Hold on.
OBS. Joe, quit typing messages in there.
No,
it is working.
You can remove your own shit.
Yeah, I know. Ooh, interesting.
Well, obviously, he probably didn't want his place of work to be out there either, probably.
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, so take a look at this right here.
Hold on. I can't really. We're just gonna have to go to YouTube and look at it.
No, Joe, you can't
see
see that.
It keeps freezing up on me.
Oh, wow.
Hold on.
Super weird.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. Anywho.
You don't have any videos?
Nope.
Go to the more.
Yeah, no. 2014. Old school. Interesting. Super, super interesting. Anyway, now then. What is this? Is this part 3? No, that's part 1. Why is that back up there? The jobs number revision is frightening. And now we're going to go back to the final part of the interview. Because why not?
The country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And
you did not answer the question. Did you misspeak when you said that you carried a weapon of war in war? Yes or no?
And the idea that you said that you were in war. Yeah. Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar is not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an...
That's not about your grammar. That's about the fact that you made a claim that is false. That's what we patriots like to call stolen valor, because you were never in war.
Right.
You were in the National Guard. You never deployed. You never carried a weapon of war in war. Period.
But not only did he not ever deploy, when he was getting deployed, he pretty much abandoned his men.
Yeah, I mean, he
didn't pretty much do it. He did. He abandoned his men.
So they essentially got word that they were about to be deployed, and he was like, oh, time to retire.
Yeah.
There's some debate on whether that's what actually happened or not, but regardless, it's suspicious enough.
Right.
Because at that point, also, he never attained the rank of, what does he always say that he is?
Some like special forces.
No, not that. It's a sergeant major or something.
Oh yeah,
command sergeant major. Never attained that rank. You were. They call it frocking. Like you never actually did the work to get the rank, but they may have needed somebody to fill that rank for the time being, so that they gave you the rank, but you didn't earn the rank. So he's just full of shit. That's all it amounts to, is he's completely full of shit.
An attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have, and I never will.
One other question, because again, this is all new. Yeah. This was not, however many days ago, this was not on either of your bingo cards, especially yours. You had to clarify that you had said that you and your wife used IVF, but it turned out you used a different kind of fertility in order to have children. And then when you ran for Congress in 2006, your campaign repeatedly made false statements about a 1995 arrest for drunk and reckless driving. What do you say to voters who aren't sure whether they can take you at your word?
Well, I've been very public. I think they can see my students come out, former folks I've served with, and they vouch for me. I certainly own my mistakes when I make them. The one thing I'll tell you is I wished in this country wouldn't have to do this. I spoke about our infertility issues because it's hell, and families know this. And I spoke about the treatments that were available to us that had those beautiful children there. That's quite a contrast in folks that are trying to take those rights away from us. And so
nobody is trying to take those rights away from you.
To me, it's so weird. Like, where the hell did they even get that from? Like, Trump just come out, by the way, and said that he not only is not going to get rid of IVF
or abortion, for that matter,
but in regards to IVF, he is actually going to make it to where your insurance company has to start paying for it.
Pay for it, yes, or the government's going to pay for it.
Because now, what
did he say? We need
more
beautiful American babies. We want more beautiful American babies.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, none of their arguments hold water, and to watch everybody scramble and try to make their arguments valid is hilarious to me.
I think people know who I am. They know
literally nobody knows who you are because you can't tell the truth.
I won't apologize for speaking passionately, whether it's guns in schools or protecting of reproductive rights. The contrast could not be clearer between what we're running against. The vice president's position on this has been clear. And I think most Americans get it if you've been through that. I don't think they're cutting hairs on IVF or IUI. I think what they're cutting hairs on is an abortion ban and the ability to be able to deny families the chance to have a beautiful child.
Neither of those two things are on the table.
Stupid. Vice President Harris, you were a very staunch defender of President Biden's capacity to serve another 4 years. Right after the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now,
here it comes.
Do you have any regrets about what you
told the biggest
American
lie
people?
of them all?
No, not at all. Not at all. I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now, and I'll tell you, it's one of the greatest honors of my career, truly.
Really? Because on the debate stage, you said he was a racist.
He cares so deeply about the American people. He is so...
Didn't he make a speech in front of a blood-red backdrop that demonized half of America?
Yes, I do believe so. Remember though, Justin, remember, you must deny the evidence of your eyes and ears.
That was the party's greatest command.
So smart and loyal to the American people. And I have spent hours upon hours with him, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment and disposition that I think the American people rightly deserve in their president. By contrast, the former president has none of that.
Oh, really?
And so, one, I am so proud to have served as vice president to Joe Biden. And two, I'm
this
so
bitch
proud
pisses me off
to be running with Tim Walz for president of the United States and to bring America what I believe the American people deserve, which is a new way forward, and turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really lies.
But the last decade, of course, the last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era that started about a decade ago, where there is some suggestion, warped I believe it to be, that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of where I believe most Americans are, which is to believe that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That's what's at stake as much as any other detail that we could discuss in this election.
So Trump did the First Step Act, funded HBCUs, stop border crossings, capped insulin prices. But yeah, it's about who you beat down. Sure. Cool story. Dumbass. Hit it. Do it.
Dumbass!
Thank you.
Because we haven't had a chance to talk, I'm just curious, staying on President Biden, when he called you and said he was pulling out of the race, what was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
It was a Sunday, so
Joe.
What?
It was a Sunday, so. Bitch, you knew he was dropping out because you told him if you don't drop out, I'm a 25th Amendment your ass, you old fart. That's what you did.
Pretty much.
Don't
Pretty
lie.
much.
Don't sit there and lie. You knew it was coming because you were the driving factor in it.
here, I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it. There's no such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces. And we had just had pancakes and, you know, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle. And the phone rang, and it was Joe Biden. And he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, are you sure? And he said yes. And that's how I learned about it.
I will take
that
shit.
sounds
Hold
very
on,
fabric.
Let me finish. I'll take shit that never happened for 1,000, Alex.
Yeah, that sounds very fabricated.
Because it is.
And what about the endorsement? Did you ask for it?
He was very clear that he was going to support me.
So when he called to tell you, he said, I'm pulling out of the race and I'm going to support you.
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you. My first thought was about him.
Your first thought is always about you.
I think history is going to show a number of things about Joe Biden's presidency. I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative.
Yeah, it showed us what not to do.
What we have accomplished around finally investing in America's infrastructure, investing in new economies.
Yes, your $8 billion to build 2 EV chargers was such an investment.
Our allies back together and have confidence in who we are as America and grow that alliance. What we have done to stand true to our principles, including the one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I think history is going to show not only has Joe Biden led an administration that has achieved those extraordinary successes, but the character of the man is one that he has been in his life and career, including as a president, quite selfless and puts the American people first.
I just have to ask you both about 2 standout moments, aside, of course, from the addresses that you both gave, but standout moments.
Notice that jump cut. Just there.
First.
I just have to ask you both about 2 standout moments.
And puts the American people first.
I just have to ask you both about 2 standout moments.
What did they cut out?
From the addresses that you both gave, but standout moments that were perhaps unexpected during the convention. You mentioned one of them, Governor. A moment that you shared, that the world shared with your son, Gus. You were speaking, the camera caught him, so incredibly proud of you, so emotional, saying, that's my dad.
Yeah, I don't know as a father I could have ever imagined that. I'm grateful for so many reasons to be on this ticket, but that moment, to understand what
Hold on. Okay, I want to analyze this real quick. I do. I want to get it real close here. As a father of a special needs child, I'll scroll back a little bit, Justin. I really want to hone in on this.
You were speaking, the camera caught him, so incredibly proud of you, so emotional, saying, that's my dad.
Yeah, I don't know as a father I could have ever.
That, instantly is shit. I gotta talk about this thing now. Like, he is not proud of his son. He is not proud of this. He is embarrassed by this. And I'm telling you right now, if he was proud of his son, if this was something he wore on his shoulder like a badge of honor, like any father should that has a special needs child, he would pretty much be like, my name's Tim Walls and I have a special needs child. Because that's pretty much what most people with special needs kids do.
Yep.
They practically introduce themselves as, I'm so-and-so, I have a special needs child.
Yeah.
And the fact that we had to find out about him having a special needs child
through this
at this point, I think is sad and pathetic.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think that this is something that the American people would have known had he been proud of it. I don't agree with the attacks on people's children, especially this particular child, because he is indeed a child. He is not an adult yet. Therefore, he is off limits. Like, do not go after the kids. I hold that policy true for all children of politicians or famous people. Until they're legal adults, don't go after them. You know, Greta Thunberg, she was off limits for a hot minute because she was under the age of 18. Guess what? She's 18 now, and she a dumb bitch. Okay? That's it. That's all there is to it.
But either way, though, this guy, he's a special needs individual. He's off limits altogether.
Correct. Now, his dad is retarded in a different way, and he is not off limits.
No, his dad's retarded. Like, special needs people aren't retarded. He's just retarded. Like, his dad's retarded. Like, retarded is not a way to describe mentally handicapped people anymore. Retarded is now essentially another way to just call people a dumbass.
Correct.
We respect people have mental disabilities or physical disabilities, and we just say we give them a higher honor as to saying, you know, they are special needs.
And they can suck on
these nuts.
Wait, who? The people that have a problem with that?
The actual retarded people. Not not the special needs kids, the other retarded people.
It is 2023. We don't actually call people that have disabilities retarded anymore.
Yeah, no. We're not cruel unless you're fucking retarded. Exactly. And retarded in the way that's not actually a mental handicap. Like, you're just fucking stupid.
Like, retarded now is pretty much just a way to call people a dumbass.
Correct. So
I want to continue with this little snippet here.
Imagine that. I'm grateful for so many reasons to be on that.
The mom's not even proud. I mean, you can see it on her face. She's embarrassed. Like, just watch.
I don't know as a father I could have ever imagined that. I'm grateful for so many reasons to be on.
Did you see that face? Like, the side eye? Like, please sit down?
Yep.
Like, this is embarrassing us. Sit down. The daughter is the only one who's
it's 2024, Malik. I'm sorry, Malik. It's 2024. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said 2023.
Golly, Joe. Got actual audio of Joe right here, okay?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
And he was, and is, a retard. Anyway. The sister's the only one that's not embarrassed.
Yeah, scroll back a little bit. Let's see that again.
I don't know as a father I could have ever imagined that. I'm grateful for so many reasons to be on this ticket, but that moment, to understand what was really important.
That's 100% embarrassing.
She just shushed him.
Yeah.
For so many reasons to be on this ticket, but that moment, to understand what was really important, to have my son
she shushed
feel a sense
him.
of pride in me, that I was trying to do the right thing. And it was, you try to protect your kids, it brings notoriety and things, but it was just such a visceral, emotional moment that I'm I'm grateful I got to experience it, and I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Hope. I'm proud
No, you're
of
not.
Lynn. She's a wonderful mother, and these are great kids. And I think the one thing is talking about the era we're in is our politics can be better. It can be different. We can show some of these things, and we can have families involved in this. And I hope that there was I hope people felt that out there, and I hope they hug their kids a little tighter, because you just never know, and life can be kind of hard.
And last question, Madam Vice
It's even harder when your leaders are socialists.
Yeah.
President, the photograph that has gone viral. You were speaking.
So this photograph is of one of her little nieces watching her, and it's supposed to be inspiring. Okay, first off, I would not want my daughter to look up to someone who got her start in politics by hitting them knees.
Yep.
Sorry. Nope.
One of your grandnieces that you were just talking about was watching you accept the nomination. You didn't explicitly talk about gender or race in your speech, but it obviously means a lot to a lot of people, and that viral picture really says it. What does it mean to you?
You know, I am running because I believe that I am the best person to do this job at this moment.
You're the only person that believes
for
that.
all Americans, regardless of race and gender.
No, don't lie.
But I did see that photograph, and I was deeply touched by it. And you're right, it's the back of her head, her two little braids, and then I'm in the front of the photograph, obviously speaking. And it's very humbling. It's very humbling in many ways.
No, it's
Did
not.
she talk to you about it afterwards?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about. She had a lot. She listened to everything, and she listens to everything.
Give you your hot take?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
And that concludes the interview that answered absolutely nobody's questions. Thanks.
Dear
But
gosh.
we got to experience that together.
Oh, that was rough.
Now, anywho, we got 1, 2, 3 more things to cover, and then we'll call it a night. So Ukraine has a new drone missile to attack the interior of Russia, not just the Kursk region that they have invaded.
Which, by the way, when we started funding them, didn't they say that, we're not going to go into Russia, we're just going to stay solely defensive?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what they said. And now they're begging us to lift the restrictions on using our weaponry to attack inside Russia, because Ukraine has an interest in starting World War III. So,
How about Zelensky can eat some shit? That's what I think.
He can go fuck himself.
And eat a dick.
Thank you, Joe. This war has not been kind to this man. Look at that face.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he has aged.
How can Elon Musk help Ukraine use the missile against Russia? Ukrainian President Zelensky celebrated Kiev's first apparent strike with his new drone missile. It was used for the first time on August 24th when it struck an enemy military facility. The next day, Zelensky took to X, saying the drone missile was designed to destroy the enemy's offensive potential.
Yesterday, the first successful combat use of our new weapon, the Ukrainian long-range rocket drone, Ballistic, took place. It was designed domestically to destroy the enemy's offensive potential. The number of rocket drones production will grow just like our long-range strike drones production did, whose efficiency we see almost daily. It's developed in 18 months. Let me tell you something. The U.S. government would kill to have weaponry like this be created in 18 months. There is a
Hold
constant
on.
push for constant progression in the U.S. military world, and defense companies just can't keep up with the ever increasing technicality of the weapon systems that the U.S. government wants. Like, it's not possible at our current capacity to do it.
Okay, hold on though. So the whole deal started in February 2022, right?
Yes.
So February 2023, that's 12 months. February.
Yeah, we're 2.5 years in.
So we're looking at we're looking at 2 years, so 24 months. 30 months, right? It said it took 18 months.
Yep.
That was to develop that.
That's
that's off.
So with Ukraine's resources, that's extremely impressive.
That's questionable.
It is indeed questionable, but if it's all they've been working on, they probably buy the majority of their defense products from some other nation.
See, here's my deal though. Here is they were hurting so bad for things though, right? I mean, but yet they had to have started this 6 months?
Yeah, but
after
Joe,
the whole
what
deal
did we
started
do during World War II?
Pretty much put everybody. It was all hands on deck.
One of the companies that I used to work for was turned into an aircraft manufacturer during World War II.
Right.
A country will do what they need to do in order to produce defense products, but this looks like the product of about 18 months of design and testing, right? To me, that's what it looks like. It looks like something that was kind of like a thought that somebody had, and then they just went with it.
Okay, yeah.
So
no. My thing is here they are begging for money.
Yet they're able
saying
to do this. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Is they're begging for money, saying they basically have nothing. They don't have shit. We're pretty much just a bunch of farmers in Ukraine. We don't have shit. But yet somehow, in the midst of all that, they come up with this.
Behold, my new stuff. Anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, more power to them, right? But why a drone? You don't need it to be a drone. Just make a missile. Yes, because you do not need to start World War III. So, let's go back. One of the most effective ways to counter Russia's launch of missiles and glide bombs is to strike at the carriers of these weapons, Russian aircraft at military airfields. However, allies have not yet permitted Ukraine to do this with their weapons. Yeah, because we have a vested interest in not starting World War III, you fucking retard. Looks like a Formula One rear wing for Monza. Pulse jet. Okay.
So I'd like to retract my previous statement. This looks very simplistic.
Yes.
It looks like some shit. Like Iran can probably do better than this.
Maybe.
Like, it's basically just a freaking missile. It's a missile.
It's a missile.
It's a guided. Yeah, it's a guided missile in a way, really. So yeah, no, I'm not impressed.
So, I mean, the ability to actually produce something like that is impressive, especially for them. As far as its uses, they're just going to make things worse, I think. I mean, to be completely honest, I just think it's going to make things worse.
Like, if Boeing pulled some shit like that out, we would be like, so what did you do with the other $400 billion we gave you?
No. Here's the thing. We have stuff that looks like that, just on a smaller scale.
But see, like, our stuff is like launched from jets, from bombers.
It can
Their
be.
Stuff.
It doesn't have to be. See, the thing is like our stuff can be tube launched and the wings will pop out.
That's what I'm saying. Is like this. Their stuff looks very simplistic. Very.
Yes, it is very much a means to an end for them, right? So, anyway,
it looks very. What would you call it? Primal.
Yes, it looks like the infancy stages of rocket warfare.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it looks like to me. But anyway, good for them. Don't really care. Just don't start World War III. And now, while Kamala Harris is villainizing a lot of people, Donald Trump has the Unity Party? What the fuck?
Officially welcome another true American patriot, a 17-year veteran of the Hawaii Army National.
Oh, by the way, somebody who actually served in combat.
Guard. A four-term Democrat congresswoman, very, very popular, the former vice chair of the National Democratic Party and a 2020 Democrat candidate for the United States presidency. She was a very good candidate. Every time she ran, she was good. She did well. She decided to leave. She couldn't take it anymore, but she is very special, and I didn't know this, but she was a lieutenant colonel. That's not bad. Lieutenant colonel. Not bad. I didn't know that. I just found out. I said, put it down. You got to put that down. That's bigger. That's better than all the other stuff I read. But no, she's a special person. She's got great common sense.
Malik says, no, sir, that's the new Justice League, according to the memes. Yes, according to RFK Jr. himself, Wonder Woman has joined the team.
Great spirit. She loves our country, and she loves the people in this room. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, please.
Listen, if a centrist like Tulsi Gabbard is endorsing Donald Trump, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, that's a huge deal. And let's not forget, Tulsi Gabbard single-handedly destroyed Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2020.
Thank you, Mr. President. Aloha. I know we got Hawaii in the house here. There we go. It is a privilege to be here with all of you, my brothers and sisters in uniform, especially on this day of all days. I had the privilege of joining President Trump this morning at Arlington Cemetery, where he joined two Gold Star families and loved ones of Staff Sergeant Hoover and Sergeant G, both of whom were two of the 13 killed in the Abbey Gate attack 3 years ago today in Kabul. And I can tell you, as we were there, as he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, joining these Marines' loved ones, I felt the sorrow that he shared with them in their loss. I felt and saw his sincere appreciation for these servicemen and women who paid the ultimate price and their loved ones who continue to grieve to this day. This is personal for me, as I know it is for so many of you here. This is real. It's not just words. I first deployed to Iraq in 2005 with the Hawaii Army National Guard as a member of Charlie Med. As those of you who were deployed during that time know, it was the height of the war, and sadly, we took many casualties. And every day we were confronted with that high human cost of war and that sadness as we boarded the plane when we left, that we were leaving some of our brothers and sisters behind, only to lose others when we got home to suicide. So I mean what I say when I share with you that I know that President Trump understands the grave responsibility that a president and commander-in-chief bears for every single one of our lives. Whether you're a soldier, you're an airman, a Marine, sailor, or a coastie, he keeps us in his heart in the decisions that he makes. We saw this through his first term in the presidency, when he not only didn't start any new wars, he took action to de-escalate and prevent wars. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, having the courage to meet with adversaries, dictators, allies, and partners alike in the pursuit of peace, seeing war as a last resort. The truth is, as we head towards our decision as a country in November, the same cannot be said about Kamala Harris. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as this administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts and regions around the world, and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House, where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief. Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace. And we can't live free as long as we have a government that is retaliating against its political opponents and undermining our civil liberties, weaponizing our very institutions against those they deem as a threat. Kamala Harris has done this over the last 3.5 years. She won't hesitate to continue that if she is elected as president. President Trump has been their first and foremost target in this because they don't want us as voters to even have the option to vote for him. I've been their most recent target, added to a secret domestic terror watch list after exposing the truth about what kind of dangers we would face if Kamala Harris is elected as president. We as Americans must stand together to reject this anti-freedom culture of political retaliation and abuse of power. We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future. I am proud to stand here before you today, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent. If you love our country, as I do, if you cherish peace and freedom as we do, I invite you to join me in doing all that we can to save our country and elect President Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House to do the tough work of saving our country and serving the people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Indubitably.
Meanwhile, they have another superseding indictment that they've brought on Donald Trump. And who is the guy that had cancer in Congress? Jamie Raskin. I meant to put this on there. Let's see if I can find it. You mean Prison Mike? Yeah, Prison Mike. The wife just came in here and reminded me that it's Prison Mike. My bad. Let's see. Here it is. So this is from Timcast.
Rep. Raskin in February, quote, "It's up to Congress to disqualify Trump if he wins. So it's going to be up to us on January 6th to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified." It's kind of wild to hear, and this story is going pretty viral, but Legal Insurrection did the groundwork sourcing this clip that's going viral with tens of millions of views on X. And it's sourced back to 5 months ago, back in February, on February 17th. Very few views, only 7,558 views, but somebody did find it. And so we have, in the full context, he's talking about actions they need to take. And, let's just play the clip so you can hear it for yourselves.
It's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions.
Rep. Raskin in February.
Interesting. But yeah, totally the party of democracy.
I like me some Timcast.
Yeah, I do too. Anyway. Okay, last item, and then we're going to call it quits. We're not doing a scroll on X. We're not doing Quiet on a Podium. We're not doing any of that shit tonight. Because I don't feel like it, and it's been 2 hours already. So we're going to take a look at the Arlington National Cemetery visit that Donald Trump had.
Tonight, the controversy over former President Trump's visit to Arlington National Cemetery has reignited. Vice President Harris slamming him for disrespecting sacred ground, all for the sake of a political stunt. She's calling the cemetery a solemn place and not a place for politics.
We lost 13 great people.
It's her first time weighing in after the Trump campaign posted this highlight video on TikTok showing the former president laying a wreath in honor of the service members killed during the chaotic military withdrawal from Afghanistan. A cemetery spokesperson said federal law prohibits campaign-related activities there.
Mr. President, what do you think of President Trump's behavior at Arlington Cemetery with the visit to the fallen soldiers?
That Secret Service agent hates
on
his
social
life.
media overnight, former President Trump posted a series of videos from Gold Star families criticizing the Biden administration.
You have been nothing but disrespectful to me and the families of the 13.
We invited President Trump. We are the ones that asked for the video and the pictures to be taken.
Even though the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan was negotiated with the Taliban during the Trump administration, the former president blames the Biden White House for its poor execution.
Joe Biden killed those young people because he was incompetent. And then they tell me that I used their graves for public relations services, and I didn't.
In an interview with NBC News last week, Trump insisted he knew nothing about the video that was shared on TikTok and said the Gold Star families had invited him.
You know who the families also invited? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Where were they? Joe Biden was sitting at a beach. Kamala Harris was sitting at her mansion in Washington, D.C.
A White House official and the Harris aide deny the president or vice president were ever invited.
Gabe is joining us.
I mean, that's from NBC.
This shouldn't be controversial at all. The rules are that you can't use videos like that for political reasons, right? But the Gold Star families themselves are saying, we asked for that video. Like, we wanted that video. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like torn on it because
if they are the ones that made the video and then gave it to him and he used it for political purposes, he technically didn't violate the law.
Well, I mean, technically he did, though, because the law applies equally regardless of who took the video. Where
I'm saying if they
more than how it was taken.
But what I'm saying is if they just took a video of him and was like, oh, hey, it's Donald Trump. Oh, look, let's video him,
Well, the other thing is that they're saying that the Trump team abused the staff at Arlington, which I doubt.
Right.
Highly. And they also claim to have video that disproves that. So, it's just one of those fucking... Nobody knows who to believe. Nobody was there. It's just another smear tactic for Trump, and it's tired. Like I'm so over this shit. But it's just the nation that we live in, and I've said it before. I'll say it again, friends. Things are getting really bad out there. They're going to get
much worse. They are worse. They are getting worse. They are being worse. We are in the worst.
So, it's coming to a head, and it's going to get worse far before it gets better. But
I'm just interested to see. Let's see. We are officially in September now.
Yep,
so
we have less than 2 months.
And I'm just interested to see how those 2 months go. I think the closer we get to November, the more turmoil we are going to see in this country.
Well, October 15th is Trump's sentencing for the Merchon case, and word on the street is they're going to send him to prison immediately.
Okay.
So
what do you think happens if that happens?
Violence. And a lot.
I think so too. I think there will be a lot of pro-Trumpers, like the extreme side of them.
I don't think it's relegated to Trumpers. I think it's everybody who gives a shit about this country.
That too could be.
I think it's legitimately cause for concern for everyone, because at this point it is 100% election interference. You're taking the voice of the American people away, and you are going to get libertied good and hard.
Yep.
And with that, I'm Justin.
I'm Joe.
Tally ho, lads.
Tally ho, lads.